And once again, we are live! Hello everyone, I am Vwild, and welcome to Blind Bet, a Toonkind FPS. I've already said my name, I will be playing Little Lynn's Stagehand, and may I introduce my wonderful person with me? Or better yet, you introduce yourself!
Hello, my name is Whis. It is very early in the morning. I am going to be playing Little Rye Stagehand for all of 5 seconds today, but I'm playing somebody else today. This is a little bit fun. So we should jump straight into it. It's a normal day for our little stagehands, I think. Don't you reckon, Vwild?
Indeed, these guys have somehow managed to settle into something of a chaotic but normal routine. I mean, Lynn's cut back on her cases a lot, so there's no charging halfway across the country.
Thank goodness.
It's nice. A lot more nice than she ever thought she'd get.
Bless.
And we do know Rye. Rye does go off on his own adventures sometimes, and just to the park or the library or to the others, because he has got friends now. He's got friends now. Holy Peckneck, our son's got friends.
He does, in fact, have friends.
But as he goes out, because have you got any idea where Rye would perchance be going today?
He's going to the park today.
Alright, perhaps to do one of his puppet shows or something.
Yeah, it's a puppet day.
Oh, puppet day. Lynn does like going over to puppet days sometimes, but she has got a little bit of paperwork today, and yes, it's a picnic to do, but she can do it, and she does it for Almond as well. It's gonna be good, because she actually senses herself in these things. And she does, and I gotta admit, Lynn does fast. She just checks over his scarf, adjusts it, pats down his hat or his hoodie, makes sure it's unruffled, and she just goes, okay, and you've got your little stick, and you got your packed lunch, and you got everything that you might need, and you got a buddy plane just in case you need help. And let's see, do you need anything else? Oh, have you got your puppet show box?
Yes, Mom. I got all of it. It's all good.
Okay. I know I worry, but you're growing up so fast. And she just literally just got all of his his clothing into shape. That immediately goes out the window. She just gives him a little fluffy hug.
Now, this is the same farewell he's had just about every time he's left the house, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And there is sort of a soft hum from Network of just, and she goes, sweetheart, no, you can't. We've talked about this. The magic of your ambulata, you can't use it. You have to use it every 30 days. And you tried to go in the tumble dryer.
Yeah, you don't want to break it, Nettle.
Break. Very soft, very good. Little puppet.
Roger's just going to sort of shake his head. Don't worry, you'll see one of my plays before too long.
And there is the very soft breeze around him. Not enough to pick him up, but yes. Similar to how Lynn gave him the little squish, there is just the very warm, thank you, little Rye, brother of mine! And there is the happy hum as the gold just goes everywhere.
Raj just giggles, and then he gives a wave and goes, I'll see you guys later. Don't work too hard.
We won't. Well, we'll try not to. Network will stop me. Have fun. Be good.
I will. Love you. Bye. And then he turns around and trots down the street.
There is just she hangs just out the door and goes, love you too. And then she does go indoors, just bright grin on her face. Just absolutely beaming. Just, all right. Sweetheart, it's gonna be a good day. Okay, we still got the blueprint ready. Picking fantastic. Okay, let's get on with that. And she's just gonna go to her desk and get a few things out and start working.
Cool. I reckon Lynn probably gets an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to get both Lynn and Network to roll a perception. And Network actually gets advantage on this.
Oh. All right. I will just get up the network sweetheart nettle sheet. Yeah. I have her here.
And I'll just roll this to contest. Okay, fair enough.
It decided to be a Peckneck on that front. So that is... We'll see if we can get higher than a 22 for... Okay, that's a 22 for Network. And I'll just see on Lynn what she gets. See, you're not proficient in perception, but you're going to try your best, your little cotton socks.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Hey!
hey! Okay. So, with two 22s versus a 10, someone has approached the door. And Network in particular notices this because this particular someone has a business card about their person. And they have slipped something through the mail slot. They've not knocked, they've not rung the doorbell, they've just pushed something through the mail slot and are just standing there on the step.
And I think the reason why Lynn gets it is Network has just full on the second they went, oh, business card! Connection of ours! And Lynn has just been knocked out of her chair. She's like, oh, okay. And she's just like slowly being tornadoed towards the door. She goes, okay, fine. Honestly, you're a magpie, you're a little puppy, and you're a little monkey, all in one ball. I swear to the pecking gods. Okay. And that is a letter. Hey. That's unusual. And Lynn is just gonna go towards it just slowly, because what is this sorcery? And then she's just gonna straight up go towards it because, yeah, this is in her home.
Okay. It's not, well, it is a letter in one fashion or another. It's not an envelope. It's a piece of pale blue Grolix. An exclamation mark, as a matter of fact.
Oh, no pecking way. No pecking way! And, yeah, Lynn is slowly pom-pomming as she is once again going, no, mother pecking way! And she is running towards them. She's at the door. She's just gonna fling it open right now.
And standing on the other side of the door, about the same height as you, maybe a little shorter, with big round eyes and a walking stick in one hand, there is a stagehand. And he's got long wings on his back, and he just sort of buzzes them slightly and goes, surprise, Pompom.
And she just tackles him.
And he just stands there and lets her do it. I'm not going to do a save for him.
It is fluffy. It is the fluffiest, warmest thing ever. And something Hattie will note is, yeah, Lynn feels different to the last time he was around her. This is softer. This is an old, familiar softness to her. As she's just going, little Hattie! My Hattie, holy Peck! You're here! Wait, holy Peck, you're here! How the heck?
Oh, it took some doing, don't you worry. I managed to get here without falling down any holes, but you're squeezing me kidneys. Pom-pom. Just, can I breathe, please?
Oh, can you breathe? Well, technically you can breathe because you're talking to me, and she does give him one last squeeze. And then she lets go, because she's not gonna kill her cousin.
And he just sort of straightens up, rolls his shoulders a little, and brushes the front of his waistcoat off, and then just gives Lynn this big grin. You'll pop to Villestown for the reunion, but you won't pop to our hub for me. So I thought I'd pop to you.
I've got a few reasons for that one, but come on in, honestly. Hattie, it is picking good to see you, Winglace. I've missed you. But come on in. I've got tea. I've got tea. You're gonna like it. Come on in.
Well, I do like a cup of tea. He's just like, why is she excited about tea?
Can Haddy roll insight?
Absolutely, he can. What's his insight? Whoops. Okay.
Yeah, there is definitely something to Lynn's voice, but it is just excitement. She has turned away. He can't even get like the essence of the slight grin she's got on her face. So this is Pompom. This is Pompom being a little shit in a minute.
And he's like, oh, well, that's a good sign. And he just sort of leans his cane out a little bit and goes tap, 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 tap against each side of the door before stepping inside network. And he just sort of buzzes his wings a little bit and then turns his head as if he's looking around. So this is the network.
Yep. Oh, God, I've wanted to introduce you for a while. There was just never time. Anyway, oh, by the way, Haddy, what a morning! And there is all of a sudden a very bright, happy, and a very warm breeze coming through. Haddy, could you roll me a strength save, please?
Yes, I can. 10.
Okay, I'm gonna roll something from Lynn very quickly on her front. Let's see. Yep. Yep, no. Okay, sorry. There is almost a very hurried start of a hum from Lynn. It is entirely drowned out by a ginormous, happy, rumbling hum of a purr that seems to come out as there is a warm breeze that entirely circles around Haddy and ever so slightly lifts him off the ground.
Oh, he does not like that at all. There's a more excited buzzing from his wings. He's like, pom pom, pom pom, pom pom. What the bloody peck?
I'm here, I'm sorry. Network, put him down. I know, I've not... This is Haddy. He's nice. He doesn't like being lifted up. Put him down. And there is the very gentle... He's not thrown around as he's put down. It is incredibly gentle. And there is almost the ruffle of the top of his head by the breeze.
He's just, as soon as his feet are back on the ground and he sort of just taps around himself with his cane. Okay. Pom pom. What the bloody? Yeah. What the? Okay, you got some explaining to do.
So you know how I sometimes when I write home talk about the building kind of having a life of its own, and always thought I had a bit of an overactive imagination on that front.
Yes.
Nope. House is alive. Surprise!
Right. And I'm going to roll him an Arcana to see if he knows anything about Genius Loci. A dirty 20 will do it. He's just going to sort of think about it for a second. And then... Yeah. A Genius Locus?
You hit the pick and... How... Old Tor is 160 pecking 3 years old, and I can never get it through to him, yet you get it in 2 seconds. Mother pecker!
Pom Pom. I love Tor. You know how much I love old Tor, but he's not exactly the brightest bulb. Sometimes. Especially when it comes to stuff like magic.
Well, you know what half the family calls magic? It's heckin' magical bullshit.
Of course I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's repeated to us every other day, sometimes twice on Sundays.
And 3 times if you're lucky, or like me.
Yes.
Stan gets it's the same. Staniel gets it's the same.
Yeah. Honestly. I actually saw Staniel while we were out. I mean, I know he hasn't been to a reunion recently, I don't think either. That pick and work he has with that manager. I swear, I'm gonna take that guy's kneecaps at some stage. And I do have Uncle Logan's blessing on that front. And there is the sound of Lynn going further into the building, and the gentle whistle of a kettle starting.
He's gonna continue to just tap on the floor in front of him and follow after. And he's just gonna be buzzing his wings ever so slightly and then tilting his head and thinking about it. How in the heck did you get a genus locus for a house? That's incredible, Pompom. Not everyone can boast that.
Well, I gotta admit, it's something of a little story of ours. I mean, their full name, I should probably make introductions. You can make your own introduction because I know you love saying your name as well. But this is Network Sweetheart Nettle Stagehand, my genius loci, a 12-year-old. And Sweetheart, this is my cousin.
I'm little Hadrian, Winglace, Buzzbrain Stagehand at your service, Network.
Sweetheart says, pleased to pick and meet you. And, yeah, I'm starting to figure out where exactly they got all their sayings from, including some new ones. Note to self, if I ever meet the genius loci Essie, I'm going to take their pecking kneecaps. They taught Network how to say fuck.
Oh, my dear. Real kind swears out of a 12-year-old house. Deary me.
12 years. 12 years. I kept a pecking swear jar to stop the real kind F word coming in here, and you don't need to say it now.
Well, Tord will be thrilled.
Oh, God, old Tort is going to be pecking thrilled, you're right. We can never let him know. He'd be over the pecking moon.
He does love his real kind swears, doesn't he?
Does. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know why. He's a giant turtle. He likes saying the giant words. In multiple languages. I mean, you and I both know our first words in understanding giant were understanding the swear words before the pleases and thank yous.
Ah, yes. But that's the best way to learn a language, don't you think?
Oh, I'm not picking denying it. It's picking fantastic.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
But come on in. The first chair's about 12 steps. Yeah, 12 steps in front of you.
Thank you kindly, Pompom. Frankly, I'm surprised I managed to make it all the way here. You know, an hour for you lot is a hell of a lot longer for me.
Oh boy, just a random question. Did you tell little Mal before you went out?
Course pecking not. Why did I do that? She wouldn't have let me leave on my own.
Fair point. Okay. How quickly do you bet we're going to have a blur of a several-coloured cat in golden hearing aids pelting throughout the entirety of Toontown?
Well, I've been out of the house for 2 hours, give or take, so... She was neck deep in something when I left, so I reckon we probably got maybe 45 minutes before we can hear the disaster from the other side of town.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely gonna hear it, because I gotta admit, her yowling growlix. Well, they say there's the cat's meow. No, that's not a meow. That's definitely something like a bagpipe.
Oh, yes. The finest of bagpipes you could ever play.
Well, it's definitely music to our ears. I mean, we've been hearing it for what? Well, 20 years now?
Yeah, 20.
How the time flies. And there is the sound of Lynn pouring something into some teacups. And then as she just comes over, and there is there is a desk in front, and she does kind of give it a tap so he knows exactly where it is as she puts the teacup down. She goes, I was kind of surprised not to see you at the reunion.
Really? The biggest reunion. You told me when they got back. The biggest reunion in years. You really expected to see me there?
Actually, you know what? In hindsight, yeah.
I wonder if you remember, Pompom. You were very small, but I wonder if you remember the first reunion and only reunion I ever went to.
Yeah. I gotta admit, old Torts lifting everyone in the air and yelling, "Behold, a stagehand," and the round of Grolix, that didn't exactly agree with you.
No. I started to peck and cry in front of everyone. Yeah, great first impression, I must say.
They all still think you're adorable, though. And
of course
yes,
they do.
everyone still thinks you're adorable. Wait, well, I say adorable. They all say your mother pecking adorable to pieces.
Of course. That's just the way it works, isn't it?
Yes. The more curses, the more emotion.
Yeah. No. When I heard you were going, I was tempted, but I can hardly handle Tort and Mao in the same room half the time, let alone 100 stagehands. I would go blind, Pompom.
And that's saying something for definite.
It really is.
But, I gotta admit, well, you just missed him for today. He went out an hour ago, but, I introduced my son at that reunion.
Yes, the little Rye. Shadow Sneakster, I think, is what Tort told me when they came home.
Yep, little Rye, Shadow, Peckin' Sneakster stagehand.
Perfect for the Toontown Collective, don't you think?
Oh, it is. And Lynn has just slightly leaned into him. She hasn't gone round to the other side of her desk yet, and she's just leaned into him, and there is all of the pom-pom fluff. And would little Hattie like to roll perception for me?
Sure. $13.
The DC was 12. Hattie, you remember, it's been a while since you and Pom-Pom have interacted face-to-face in the same room. In fact, a while since Pom-Pom's actually let herself have physical contact with people.
Hmm.
You remember the last time that you guys hugged? Her hands weren't there, and her fur was incredibly scratchy. In fact, the way you see the world, she would have had a slightly blurrier outline, even than normal. That's not here now. Everything is solid and warm and absolutely the fluffiest. She is Pom-Pom. She is soft and she is full of love.
He's going to take that in for a second and then put his cane down on the table surface in front of him and sort of turn his torso towards her and hold out both his little nub hands. Pom-Pom, give me your hands. Give me your hands.
Okay. Okay. And she does just full on just plap both of them into place.
And he just sort of gives them, like, he doesn't have fingers. He's got little nubs, but he manages to sort of squeeze them anyway and just feels them for a second. So, I take it whatever was doing you in, you've done something about it then?
I couldn't even hide it from you, could I?
You can't hide anything from me, Pom-Pom.
That's true. Do you remember when we were kids? When we were kids with that... I used to try and sneak up on you. How many times did I pick and try that?
No, And more times than I can remember, Pompom, but I do remember jabbing you in the face with a black marker a few times. I think it was black. It may as well have been rainbow colored for all I know, but, I was told it was a black marker.
Yes. Admittedly, I did come out of that a few, black marks more than before. You should have seen little Mal when she tried to give me a bath on that one. It was definitely something.
Oh,
You used permanent marker.
Well, I thought it was a whiteboard marker, but apparently not.
Nope.
More fool you then, huh? Don't try and sneak up on a blind man.
Duly pick and noted, but what happened to me was case gone wrong, Haddie.
Really wrong by the sounds of things, by the feel of things.
Yeah. I'm gonna admit I'm really surprised to, still be here. But seeing you right now, holy peck, Haddie, I've missed you so much. And she is just coming in for another hug.
He's going to return it, absolutely. And he's just going to rub his hands up and down Lynn's back. Oh, the last time I felt your fur, it was rough. Nothing like when we were growing up, Pompom.
Yeah. Or that time I singed off half my fur on a case. That was
the closest approximation to what it was, but that was not on your entire body. Your Reinhardt felt fuzzy. But not anymore. You feel complete.
Honestly, I feel it. First time in 5 years, Haddie, I think I'm actually starting to figure myself out.
Thank the bloody gods for that.
Thank the bloody gods. And the cleric. I got a grave cleric. Oh, holy peck, I forgot to tell you, I've got so many more connections now, Haddie. You wouldn't peck and believe it. I've made... I mean, seriously, oh God, you've never seen the wall of... Well, you've never felt the wall of love. Oh, heck and heck. Okay. There's tea, and there's a wall, and it's full of string, and you're gonna love it, okay? It's tactile. You can feel it. And
he just chuckles. He's like, oh, goodness gracious me.
Yes. And she is just she's pulled back, and she's now tugging on his hands, just being very careful to help him out of the chair. She's like, come on. All
right, bloody Peck. I'm coming. Take it easy.
Please don't I just tried to stop you from saying fuck. Don't say bloody as well.
Oh, my apologies. It's my normal word. Something that your little look I did not know. Oh, God.
Don't worry. It's... in 30 days? In 30 days, it's after Rye's birthday. It's... Yeah, we're going to be doing a little thing. I'll take him round. You're going to meet him personally, okay? Or after this. Whichever one comes first, I'm going to introduce you to him because he's going to pick and love you. But, yeah. Holy peck, I've forgotten everything I was going to say. Just... Oh.
And he lets her drag him around. He's so used to this, it's not funny.
Yes. It's a little funny. And she does just take him to the wall of love. And she does just... Full on, she just takes his hand and goes, okay. So, there's this string here. And there are so many different strings on the wall of love. Mm. And they are sort of a yarn-like feel, but they each feel different. And they also feel strangely warm underneath Haddie's hand. And she just goes through different ones, and she goes, this is Rye, and this is Teal. He's a lava dork. You'll love him. He's a dork, okay? He's a dork, and he's a bit of a show-off, and he's cool, okay? He's a dork, but he's cool. And then there's little Tiffy, and then there's Bo. She's serious. She's kind of intimidating. I did kind of lose her kid at sports. The kid did kind of end up actually playing sports. That was something. Anyway, moving on. And she does just full on go through like several other people, including some of the stagehand strings of Old Tor and Little Mal, and she does go back and point out Jacques and Asclepius because she's like, those guys are spooky grandparents and they're pecking awesome. They're really cool. You'll like them. And then there's a final string that she lands on. And yes, she has kind of dragged him all over the wall. She will apologise when she figures out, oh, hey, wait, no. But this final string feels especially warm in this moment. It feels right. All of the other strings felt okay to hold, felt nice to hold. This one seems to almost fit. You get the idea, you know, that this is your string, little Haddie.
And he just sort of pets it very, very gently, feeling the texture of the yarn that it's made of. Oh, well, there you go.
I have made a lot of connections. I admit I cut off a lot of those connections for a while.
Yes, I know. Gotta say, this is a pretty full wall, though.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to end up stretching at some point, but honestly, Paddy, I have made so many friends, and dare I say it, with some of the people I just showed you. I think they might even be family.
Oh, well, you know how Stagehands are with family. If they're your family, they're ours.
Oh, that is incredibly true. We are kind of the found family. And Peck and fantastic at adopting people. I mean, I've somehow adopted people who are now over 200 years old. I don't think Old Tort's going to take kindly to that. He thinks he's the oldest person more taken.
Oh, no, don't tell him. No, don't tell him. He will be... Oh, no, that will not go down well. That will go down like a lead balloon. Pompom. Oh, man. You will be able to hear him from the other side of Anquil.
Oh, you'll be able to hear him from Peruma. He will be loud. He will be boisterous. He will be challenging people to Peck in fights. We cannot let him fight anyone. He's a giant tortoise, but he's squishy.
Oh, yes, I know. Oh, do I know?
But anyway, I promised you. I think I promised you tea. I did promise you tea. You're gonna like this tea. It was made by one of these spooky grandparents. You're gonna like it.
Is it gonna turn me into like a ghost or something? You've got an air of mischief about you, Pompom. Not that that's different than normal, I guess. But what is special about this spooky tea, may I ask?
I wouldn't turn you into a ghost. And besides, they helped me turn back from whatever the peck I was turning into. And have actually given me help on tracking down the problem. They're great on that front. Yeah. I owe a lot to them. They're well, basically they're the people who run Halloween Town.
There's just this pause and blink, blink, and then he's gonna roll a history really quick. That's a 6. Okay, he doesn't know who they are, but he knows Halloween Town. You've fallen in with town's leaders?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story. Basically, you know how sometimes I take random cases? Well, I saw one saying that there was an adventure at a corn maze. I thought it meant adventure. I thought it meant a case. No, actually, it was, it was Halloween. It was a corn maze.
Oh, that is where you found your corn boy.
I'm sorry, corn? Do they think corn boy? gods, is that what they're calling him now?
Well, let me see. What was it that told said? Oh, yes. When we got your letter telling us about your little boy Rye, he said, oh, yes. I found Pompom in the box. Who are we to deny her child of the corn?
By the picking gods, that old mother picker. And yet he is just absolutely just hands on her knees, just giving a wheezing giggle at that. Just, oh my god.
I gotta say, it's not the strangest place that a stagehand has ever been found. I mean, aforementioned cardboard box, and he kind of does this flourishing gesture with his hand towards Lynn, and then he gestures to himself and like, spiderweb.
Spiderweb. And I gotta admit, it was kind of a miracle. I mean, your frequency, Little Mal's hearing aids, heckin' fantastic on that front. But you know what we all say about the plot and about fate and all of that stuff? It's bullshit, but it always finds us.
Boy, does it, unless you sit around in your room for, 15 years. I'm not surprised about that wall of yours, Pompom. You've always been the sociable type. If I had a wall like that in my room back at the hub, it would have you and Tort and Mao and Stan, possibly Hogan. I don't even really think I'd have that many strings for the other stagehands. I hardly ever see them.
Oh. Well, I'm sure we can actually arrange something. I mean, I know little Mao worries, and I know old Tort worries, but you've made it out today. And I think there are a few blind people around. I could ask around on that front and see if we can help you get some more mobility aids. It'll be... don't worry about the price. I'm actually making a lot of money nowadays.
You don't have to go out of your way for me, Pompom.
Hey.
We're adults these days. I'm not a child.
That you're not. You're fully grown now, eh? And I heard you're working in the music industry nowadays,
Oh yes, it's something I can do from home. You make your music, you bundle it up and stick it in the post box and goodbye, and then money comes in. It's quite a good system.
Oh, you'll have to send me a list of the things that you've done. I will buy them, I will investigate, I'm going to find all the things that you've done, and I'm going to listen to every last one of them.
You don't want to listen to my earlier pieces. They're a little bit rough. But no, I can send you them direct. I'm not going to make you go on a scavenger hunt for my work, Pompom.
Scavenger hunt! But yeah, fair point. And I can't wait to listen. It's going to be picking great.
I'll put some in the mail when I get home. Oh, boy.
But anyway, we got to save your strength. You got to have some tea. Go on. Have some tea.
Oh, yes, this is spooky tea that's very important. All right, I'm coming.
Yes. I know. And there is just the quiet clack of the drink as she just jostles it ever so slightly as she goes back to her seat. It does seem a very intentional clack. She looks out for her family.
He just keeps tapping his cane on the floor until he gets to the chair, and then he sits down in the chair and paps his hand over until he finds that cup, and then just picks it up. He's like, well, bottoms up, I suppose. And he gives it a good sip.
It is an incredibly good tea. It's got a strange flavour to it, but it's floral and it's nice and it's incredibly warming. And even though you're blind, you can tell Lynn is just smiling from the other side of the table.
And he's just going to swirl the remaining tea around in the cup and go, all right. Come on. Give it up. What's different about it? What's your shenanigan with this, Pompom? Come on.
It's made of dead people.
I beg your pecking pardon?
And she just full on just falls out of the chair.
Pompom, what the bloody peck? Dead people!
Dead people!
How do you make tea out of dead people, and how are you okay with having tea made out of dead people, Pompom?
Well, technically, it's made by a grave cleric from his graveyard out of the dead people. And you drank it. And it's my favourite tea. It's freaking fantastic.
I'm gonna roll with a quick nature.
Oh, I wish you could peck and see your face right now.
9. Okay, alright, so it is a tea plant, not corpses. Oh. Pompom, we gotta work on your phrasing.
No, my phrasing is peckin' fantastic.
Your phrasing gave me a pecking heart attack for a second there. Oh, goodness.
Do not have a pecking heart attack. I mean, I know a bit of sepia. I mean, I've dealt with stuff. I dealt with a guy keeling over in the middle of a banquet. That was a pecking nightmare. That was a nightmare. But you're fine. It's okay, T. Everybody's okay.
He's just squinting at her, but then he sort of takes the cup in both hands, and it's just like, it's really odd him making eye contact, given as he can't actually see you. But he's just sort of squinting, not breaking eye contact, and making a very another determined sip of his tea, as if that's screw you, I'm drinking this pecking tea.
Lynn does have a teacup on the other side of the table, and there is the full-on clink as she picks her own up, and then there is the very decisive gulp from her end. She just goes, yes, it is peckin' fantastic.
Well, it does have a nice flavour, but made of dead people, bloody pecking gods. I knew you were up to something, Pompom. You're always up to something.
I am always up to something. And you love me.
That I do.
But I think things are finally looking up, Paddy. I mean, my design's good. Everything in my head's finally settling into place. I've got help on, well, my case that I've been a bit of a white whale for me, or a dark wolf in another shell. I've got my son, I've got as many connections as possible. I've got you back, and, well, I'm gonna be going to therapy soon enough.
Oh. That's a surprise.
Yeah. You know us stagehands, we bottle up our emotions, shove them in a drawer, and then lock all the doors. But
I was more thinking from the perspective of the opinion on doctors.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm surprised you let a cleric anywhere near you.
He's a bit of a special case. I gotta admit, trusting that much was certainly something. And I did have a doctor for a year. Well, I say a doctor. Turns out he didn't actually have a medical license and was very much committing criminal activities. Second I found out, I ran to the high hills. But, yeah, my experience with doctors hasn't always been the best. But Asclepius, the grave cleric I talked about, he likes this therapist, so I certainly need to start getting some of my stuff in order if I'm going to be a good mum. And also just for me.
I think that's probably the better priority, is you. I'm sure your kid's fine, and yes, it's important to look after him, but you're number one in your book. You have to be, Pompom.
And there is a very deep sigh, but not a sigh of pessimism. This is a sigh of understanding. As Lynn is... Pompom is actually listening. You know what Lynn sounds like when she's ignoring something, when she's getting herself stuck in her own head. The amount of times you've heard her arguing with old talk back and forth like brick walls. You hear it going in here. She goes, I'm starting to work on that. I don't always believe it, but I'm working on it.
You always were hard-headed. You take after Tort that way.
Oh, yeah, he's got a hard shell, I've got a hard head. And she does full on do a knock on it. She goes, I've scheduled my first therapy appointment. It's a few months off. It's, when I used to visit for about a week or so every year. It's in the lull period of crime. Best time of doing these sorts of things.
Well, you're the expert on crime. So I suppose I'll take your word for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm proud of you, Pompom. That's good to hear. Very good to hear.
Thanks. Coming from you, little cuz, means the world to me. So much is changing.
Yeah, seems like it. After all this time, you've managed to do things to get this hermit out of the hub for the first time in, must be close to 7 years. Damn, I'm a hermit, Pompom.
You are a pecking hermit. We are going to get you some entertainment. We are going to get you out and about. We're going to get you wind in your wings, but not off the ground. I know you don't like being off the ground or me poking your wings. Admittedly, when I was little, I was very curious. I do still apologize. They are just very lacy and shiny.
Well, they do call me Winglace for a reason. As for the shine, I'm going to have to, again, take your word for it.
Fair point. I've got a language I'm learning at the moment. I'm gonna practice it a bit more, but it kind of works on memories. I don't know if it can work with you. We can figure it out at another time, because I don't exactly want to fry your brain. That wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the consideration, Pompom. What kind of language would fry me brain? How is that a language?
It's called Echo. I'm learning it. I don't entirely understand it. I learned it in a courtroom. Admittedly, it was a chaotic courtroom. There was people popping up the night before into materialization. There was a dead body. There was chaos. There was gods. I said peck in a courtroom. It is on the transcript.
You swore in court?
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I swore in court. I swore in court in front of Asclepius of all pecking people.
Oh, Peck.
You
You
can never let old talk. You can't tell old talk or Auntie Mal. You cannot tell little Mal.
Oh, how are you bloody gonna stop me, Pompom? That is amazing.
Oh, I've got to stop you. I've got to stop you now. Okay, you're getting hugged. You're getting hugged. Get over here. You are getting hugged.
Oh no. Oh no, you're not. Oh no, you're not.
And I think now you can roll to escape. I think it's like acrobatics.
Oh, yep. All right, acrobatics sounds good. That's a nat 20. That's 2 nat 20s. Did we both roll nat 20s?
We both rolled a nat 20 each, and our modifiers are the same. That is 2 23s, folks.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh boy. Oh,
it does just full on look like two people who have known each other forever. There is just, Hattie, you know how to escape, and I'll let you try and describe that. But Lynn just tackles.
Oh. Well, I reckon that he's just he's more of a just getting out of the way kind of thing, rather than like sprinting, because that is danger, Will Robinson. So he's just sort of more like, I'm just going to dodge, and then dodge, and then he's just going to bring his cane around and give Lynn a not a hard enough to do damage, but a good firm knonk on the head with the end of his cane. Pompom, knock it off.
Well, you've knocked me on the head. I'll knock you off when I've hugged you. I am Pompom. I'm going to drown you in the peckin' fluff.
Oh, is that peckin' so? And he's going to keep dancing around her for a little while before he actually is going to try and hug her from behind.
Oh, yes. I think on that front, I don't even think he has to roll. She is just, Pompom. She is an absolute, if she's in one of these situations, she does just start giggling. This is a place where there is no danger, there is no harm. She's in the safest place she knows. There are 2 other places where she feels safe. 3, actually, if you're fortunate. And this is the place she feels safest, and she just absolutely giggles. The second he goes to hug her, in fact, she's just going to lean backwards and she's going to try and topple on top of him.
And I think he'll let her. This is probably they've done this 100 million times.
This is cousins, as she just flops on top of him, golden fluff, and there is a very distinctive from her.
And he's just so used to this. He's just careful folds his wings down in the right way, so that he lands on his back rather than folding his wings. And then he just holds her, just enjoys the vibrations of her laughing that's just echoing through them.
And after a moment, she just kind of turns in the hold, and she's just hugging him back. Because God, she says this so many times, but she has missed so many things. And she's missed little Haddie. She's missed cuddle piles. She's missed the warmth. She's missed all the little talks and adventures and just being with people. She's opening back up on that front. And what a great time to do so with him.
And Hadrian just sort of gives Lynn this big squeeze, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to roll a strength just to see how much of a squeeze he can do.
He can roll with advantage because this is little Haddie. He can be strong as a treat.
Oops, that doesn't have the D in it. Ignore that.
No.
Okay, so 13. So yeah, 13's not a bad squeeze.
There is the faint scent of pumpkin spice as he does so, and she just gives another.
You smell like coffee almost. No, not like coffee. What's that latte thing that you can get with spices in?
Oh, pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Funny thing that. So, you know how I said about Halloween Town? And there is the grin right back.
Aye.
Well, the head person there, Jacques Macabre, really awesome guy, he's a bard.
Uh-huh.
And she's grinning, and you can kind of see there is the fluffing of her fur more, and she just goes...
And he's just gasps. He's like, hold up, pecking phone. You're not learning magic from the head of Halloween Town.
And she does just burst into rage for a second, and he can feel all of a sudden this outline form for like a microsecond. And there is warmth, and there is pumpkin spice, and there is the very distinctive taste of magic in the air before she just lets it go. Just like...
Holy peck! Holy bloody pecking shit, Pompom knows pecking magic! Ha! Bard magic! Pompom, that's the same kind of magic I know.
Yeah, I'm learning how to be. I think it's called a beast barbarian, and I'm learning with Katrina. She's a bear. She's an actual. Well, she turns into a bear, and she's pecking awesome. And I'm also learning from Jacques how to do magic. And, well, bard magic, I can actually do it, Haddy. I've actually got an aptitude for this. I think I want to take it on further.
If his eyes weren't already buggy, they'd just be like bugged. It's like, you're learning my magic, Pompom. And then there's a distinct feeling, like Lynn can see him, but his voice just sort of echoes in the back of his head, and in the back of her head, going, so you can do some of the things I can do.
Yeah, hang on. Wait until this runs out, and then I'm going to try it. And then there is distinctive shuffle of her in his arms. And then there is the feeling of her pointing. And there is the orange spark-like feeling in the back of his mind. And for once, Lynn does yell. She is loud. Her voice control isn't great at this. But it is soft, and she just goes, I can do it! I'm pecking learning, Haddy!
You don't have to peck and shout, Pompom. Bloody heck.
Learning the regulation. Apparently, I'm terrible at mental voice regulate. It's just always loud. It's like a loud head.
Loud out and loud in, I suppose. If you pop around the hub more often, Pompom, we can practice.
I pick and love it. Please. And she is just full on. Just like, there is probably his kidney has slightly suffered. He's probably also been whacked in the face by her tail. She is very excited.
As if you needed a reason to come down to the hub. But if that helps, I wouldn't mind giving you a few pointers. Goodness knows Mount Thort won't be able to do a thing for you. But this is my magic. I can help you with this, Pompom.
I'd love it. Haddy, I'd be honoured. But we might want to keep it a tiny secret from old Tort, seeing as, yeah, he gets shadow-related. I mean, he's some kind of monk. I've never understood how he does that. You know that trick where suddenly you'll hear him on one side of the building and then you look and he's not there and then suddenly he's behind you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm familiar with that. He's not allowed to do that to me anymore. The last time I hit him in the face with my cane. Yeah.
Oh, now I want to see that. Please tell me someone recorded that, please.
I don't pecking know, but I do know that the Mao nearly coughed up a lung. She was laughing that hard. But that he's not allowed to do that to me anymore.
Oh, fair point.
But yes, do go on. I digress.
Yes. But I'm gonna be popping by more. I mean, I admit I may have stopped coming by because, well, you know how we keep asking every time there's a problem and we pry into things. Yeah.
You didn't want to be pried on yourself.
Yeah.
You can dish it out, but you cannot take it.
Fair point. I'll admit. And she is raising her arms in the air in surrender. And she goes, I'll admit, I can care for others, I can pass around the chili. One bit of someone caring for me has me running for the hills.
You're really in the wrong family for that kind of attitude, Pompom.
Yeah, as I'm starting to figure out. After we had the reunion, we had the chili. There was old Tort turned to me afterwards, and he went, Pompom, you're getting picked and tackled, and I think I pretty much, one of my kidneys is pulverized. I got bombarded by about 50. I got 50 people on me. Haddy, I was overheating. They were killing me. They were killing your cousin.
Only 50? Goodness.
Yeah.
They must have been holding back. Most of those stagehands probably haven't seen you or even got a letter from you in years.
Yeah. Speaking of, has Reggie been hoarding all of our letters for a while? You know Uncle Reggie?
Oh, Reggie.
Yeah.
I hope people aren't getting too cross at the poor fella. He's doing me a favor, really. You're gonna do. You're a detective, right, Pompom? You should come next time you come to the hub. Do some detective work and figure out who the bloody Peck put my name in the mail drawer. Mine. Me. I have never been to Villestown. How the Peck am I supposed to get the mail there? Reggie was doing me a favor by doing it.
Fair point, but you do recognize that. Admittedly, I finally figured out after overwashing the thing. A plastic plant in here, Hattie. Me and Reggie believed it was real. Me and Reggie believed it was real for about 8 years.
I know.
You know?
I know.
No. You pecking knew.
Of course I pecking knew. They told me. They told me about your little plastic plant. It took you years to figure out that it wasn't real.
It's my plant. It got bigger. I swear it got bigger at least once. There was a new there was added plastic. Okay.
That was the best, longest standing prank that any of the Toontown Stagehands have ever pulled. And you know what we're like, Pompom. And you're... Oh, bless your socks, Pompom. And he just gives her a big pat on the shoulder.
I'm gonna get you guys back for that. I'm gonna figure out something, and I'm gonna get you all picking back. Mark my mother picking words. As little Lynn, Pompom, Reckless, Peckneck, Stagehand, I am going to get you, Winglace.
Me, I am innocent in this one, but you know what? It's been such a long time, Pompom. So you know what I say to that declaration? Peckin' bring it, cousin.
Oh, fighting words. Alright, I gotta get a planning board. Hey, network! Board 56, we're making a shenanigan board. And yes, you have the feeling that 56 is not a random number. She does have just a load of boards.
Yeah, he's just going to sort of roll his eyes at that. Oh, pig, Pompom. You really haven't changed, have you?
Nope. I've changed in some ways, shifted in another, and I'm pecking fantastic. And you love me.
I do. Some things they never change, and others, it's flavor text. And you just happen to be, autumn flavored. It's very bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah, but no.
I'm seasonal.
You're seasonal. As long as you don't, wither in any of the other seasons, eh?
I don't intend to. I think this is a time of new growth for me. And hey, who knows what'll happen next, eh? We got the world ahead of us.
Yes, well, you can't say I'll be doing much in the coming months. I mean, the last time I went out when it was snowing, I swore my wings were going to freeze off.
Yeah.
And I need those somewhat significantly, so
Indeed, for that what do you call it again? Echolocation?
Echolocation.
Yeah, the buzzy thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. As a wild door calls me Buzzbrain.
And we love it. And you love it.
It has a fondness to it. It does.
Mm-hmm. If you ever want to change it, I could always tackle or talk. We'll find a...
No, Pom. No. I don't need my swear name changed. It's fine.
Yeah, once you get a swear name, it is kind of for life. He does have a very good memory.
And 20 years, I'm kind of used to it now.
Anyway, we are still on the floor. I'm gonna help you up. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna drink more dead people tea, and you're gonna tell me about everything that's been happening at home, and I'm gonna tell you all about Little Rye, and I'm also gonna tell you about I can fight a pecking bear.
Oh yes, it sounds like we got a lot of catching up to do before Mao detonates the other half of town.
She won't.
We should probably let her know that I'm here.
Should we?
I mean, it would be the responsible thing to do.
It would. It really would. And we are incredibly picking responsible adults, aren't we both?
When the pick have we done the responsible thing, Pompom? Alright.
No pick, no. Okay.
We might react when the other half of town detonates, but until that point.
Indeed. And Pompom is just gonna get up and she's gonna nudge her shoulder into his hand or nudge her arm into his hand so that he has something to lift up with.
And he gets up with that help and rolls his shoulders a little bit and sighs. Alright, pour me another cup of your dead people tea and tell me everything.
You got it, Hattie. So it started when, and she's just gonna go off on her tangent as she pours a really nice cup of tea. And I think that's a good place to start panning out.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we pan out, and there is, just as we glance over all of Toontown in all of its glory, away from the Stagehands Requiem, there is in the very distance Grawlix, visible in the sky, in a sort of yowly cat screechy formation. Where the heck are you? And that's where we smash cut out.
To be continued? Question mark.
Yep.
Oh,
we do another FPS in the future, it's going to be these two running away from Little Mal. Breaking speed.
Amazing. Oh dear. That was fun.
Indeed. Thank you everyone for listening. This has been incredible and soft.
We love ourselves some stagehands.
We do. They are all soft, Your Honour. We hold them very fondly.
Oh, dear. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start my recording. Goodbye!
Bye, everyone!